So I never watch anime, but a YouTube comment recommended a show to me, and I tried it, and it's really good. Here's what I liked about the show. Pretty much everything. The characters were very well defined. It had really good dialogue. The story is actually very intimate and insightful. Usually a story would follow like a band of warriors going and fighting an evil dark lord or something. But this story actually picks up when they come back. That's why it's called Beyond Journey's End. The protagonist is an elf called Frieren, and she lives for thousands of years. The city celebrates their victory, and she just leaves. This 10-year-long journey that she had with these friends is just a very short time in her life, and she doesn't value it. 50 years later, she comes back and visits her friends, and they're really, really old. One of them, called Himmel, dies of old age, and she realizes that she didn't know anything about him. The theme of the story is appreciating the people around you when you have them. She didn't care very much for the people in her party, but they cared for her a lot. And so for them, the 10-year-long journey meant a lot. For her, it didn't mean very much. There's something specific that happened that I think really highlighted the theme of the show. During the adventure, Frieren had given this dragon horn to Himmel to hold on to. He keeps it for her for 50 years, and then she goes back and picks it up. He talks about how he thought about her every day and he kept the horn faithfully for her in his cupboard, and she goes out and she realizes that it doesn't mean very much to her, and then she just kind of gives it to a bird. That little act, I think, captured a lot of the themes of the story, where these human characters value and know Frieren really, really well, and she just doesn't care. This story is about her learning to appreciate the people in her life as long as she has them. The dialogue of the show is very well written. It's not sharp and snappy like some other shows, but it is very skilled in a very different way.
I'm going to keep traveling.
All by yourself?
It's easier that way.
You're not going to take on an apprentice. A journey is better with someone to talk to.
I fear it would be a waste of time. No matter how much I teach them, they'll surely die.
How cheery. That's not how relationships work.
That's how they work for me.
The show is very introspective, and I like that a lot. The show digs deeply into Frieren and her apathy for temporary things. She just doesn't care for things that live shorter than she does. She takes on an apprentice, and she learns that she's just a very selfish person.
I'm sorry, Fern.
What do you have to be sorry for?
I realized I don't know the first thing about you, so I didn't know what sort of present you would like.
The show is really about Frieren learning to appreciate temporary things, whether it's just people in her life or things or even a sunset. There's a good part of one story where she just learns how to appreciate a sunset. What I really like about Frieren as a character is that she's very subtle. She isn't loud, she isn't obnoxious, she's very soft-spoken, but she's also a very well-defined character.
I'd return the compliment, but change evades you.
Plus, my head's still not for padding.
I feel like this show does a very good job of portraying a character that is very old and is very experienced. A huge part of that is she's become apathetic to things. And that's very convincing. I'm very convinced that a character that lives 1,000 years would actually be very apathetic to things. So again, the show is about loving and appreciating people while they're in your life. And it's actually a very challenging and very insightful message. I highly recommend it. I think it's a really great show. Hit the button, hit the bell. Catch you later.